Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today, this video, we will solve some math problems from the FE Civil Engineering exam. Let me share my screen. Okay. So the first question, we have function f of x, fx equals e to the 3x. And we want to determine the derivative. Now the derivative, this is a simple question. So f prime of x equals, we take the derivative of 3x, which is a 3, and multiply by 3 to the 3x. That's all. And we want also to determine f double prime of x. Now, f double prime so we take the derivative of the derivative. So we have 3 multiplied by 3. This is a 3. We take the derivative of the 3x, which is a 3. So 3 by 3 e to the 3x. So f double prime is 9 e to the 3x. So this is the first derivative, and this is the second derivative. Now the second question, we have a set of data and we want to determine the standard deviation. We have the following data points: 2, 4, 4, 4, 5, and 5, and 7, and 9. We have this data set and we want to determine the standard deviation. Determine standard deviation. And the question asks us to use the formula. There are two formulas for the standard deviation. One formula is for the for a sample, and one formula is for the population. Now, the difference between them is only in the if we do the standard deviation for the population, we divide by n, by the number of data points, and if we are doing it for the sample, we divide by n minus 1. So the formula for the standard deviation is equals is the square root of the variance, sigma x I minus x bar square over n square root. So this is the formula for determining the standard deviation. Now here, as I said, we divided by n, which is the number of points, because we want to use the formula for population. If we want to use the formula for the sample, we simply divide by n minus 1, that's all. So we have to first find the x bar, which is the average, the arithmetic average of the sample or the population. So the arithmetic average is x bar, which is the summation, simply the summation of all the points equals sigma xi, I equals 1 to n divided by n, by the number. This is simple arithmetic average. So we have 2 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's 16, 18, 28, 25. So the summation is 40. Yeah, summation is 40 divided by 8, which is the number of the sampling point, equals 5. So the average, the arithmetic average is 5. So now we apply the rule, standard deviation. We have x, the first number, which is 2, minus 5, which is minus 3 square, plus the second value is 4 minus 5, which is minus 1 square. The third value is again 4. So we have again minus 1 square, and the next value is minus 1, which is 4 minus 1 square. Then we have 5. So 5 minus 5, which is 0. So we have 2 5s, so plus 0, plus 0, plus 0. Then we have 7, and 7 minus 5 is 2 square, plus we have 9 minus 5, which is 4, so 4 square. So the standard deviation is the square root. This is here, we have to take the square root and divide by n. Let me call this sigma. Here. Sigma. So the summation is sigma equals, we have 9 plus 1, 10, 11, 12, plus 4, 16, plus 16, so we have 32. So the standard deviation is equals 32 divided by 8, which is n square root. So 32 divided by 8, 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So the standard deviation is 2. 32 divided by 8, which is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So the standard deviation for this population is 2. If you have any question so far, please send me a comment and I will get back to you. Now, the next question. We have 2 points in the Cartesian coordinates, which are -5 and 7. This is point 1. And the second point is -3 and -1. And we want to determine the coordinates of the point at the middle between these 2 points, midway between these 2 points. So we take the x first, if this is the Cartesian coordinate. This is the x, this is the y. So the x is -5. We have a point here, -5. And the other point is 3. So the distance between these 2 points is 8, which is a 3 minus 5, which is 8. So the half the length is 4. Okay, so now either we move from -5, we go 4 midway here. Okay, and the coordinate will be -5 plus 4, it will be -1. Or we come from the 3 and we go back by 4 and we will reach to -1. So for the x, the x coordinate of the midpoint is -1. Now for the y, we have 7 somewhere here. This is 7. And the other point is -1 here. Now the distance between these 2 points, between the 7 and the -1 is 8, which is 7 plus 1, or 7 minus -1, which is 8. So the midway is 4. Half the length is 4. So we either, from the 7, we go down 4, and then we will reach to 3. Or from the -1, we go up by 4, and we will reach to 3. So the coordinates of the midpoint is -1 and 3. So this is the solution. Now the next question. We have an integration, and we want to determine its value. So we have integration of 3x squared dx, and between 1 and 4. So we want to determine the value of this integration between 1 and 4. This is again a very straightforward question. So then the 3 is constant. We take the 3 out. The integration of x squared is x cubed over 3, and the limits are 1 to 4. That's all. So we substitute. Now the 3 cancels. So the 3 cancels with the 3. So we have 4 cubed minus 1 cubed. So 4 cubed is 64 minus 1, that's 4 by 4 by 4, that's 16 by 4, 64 minus 1. So the answer is 63. So this is the answer. Again, this is a very straightforward integration question. The next question, we have a function, and we want to determine the second derivative. The function is f of x equals ln x. So the first derivative, f prime of x, equals the derivative of ln x is 1 over x. That's it. The derivative of ln x is 1 over x. Now the second derivative is the derivative of 1 over x. So if the prime of x equals, again, the derivative of 1 over x is minus 1 over x squared. Either you remember this, or you can use the derivative of the numerator multiplied by the denominator minus the derivative of the denominator multiplied by the numerator divided by the square of the denominator. We can apply this rule. The prime of x, f double prime Just want to find it by the general rule. So the derivative of 1 is 0. So 0 by x is 0 minus the derivative of x is 1 multiplied by the numerator, which is 1, divided by square of the denominator, x squared. So we have minus 1 over x squared. So for this is a simple function, 1 over x. You just simply remember that the derivative of 1 over x is minus 1 over x squared. So this is another question. So the next question is, we have a limit question. Limit sine 5 of x over x. Limit. Find the limit sine 5 x over x as x goes to 0. Now we substitute the value of x and we see what we get. Now sine 5x, 50, that's sine is 0, divided by 0. So this is 0, sine 0 is 0. So this is 0 over 0, undetermined. So in this case, we use the L'Hopital's rule. Use L'Hopital's rule. We take the derivative of the numerator, and also we take the derivative of the denominator, and we find the limit again, and we see what happens. So limit, to overcome this problem. Now sine 5x, what's the derivative of sine 5x? Now sine x, the derivative of the sine is cosine. So we take the derivative of the 5x, which is 5, cosine 5x. So this is the derivative of the numerator, and the derivative of the denominator, which is x, so is 1, as x goes to 0. So now we substitute x equals 0 equals 5. Now cosine 5 by 0, which is cosine 0. So what's cosine 0? Cosine 0 is 1 multiplied by 5, so that's 5, divided by 1, which is 5. So this is the limit. This is a very common type of a question. They ask the limit, and it comes 0 over 0 or undetermined or infinity. So in this case, we have to use L'Hopital's rule. So the next question. Now determine the angle. We have two vectors, and we want to determine the angle between them. So the first vector is u, and its components 2 in the x direction and 3 in the y direction. And the second vector is v, and it has its components -1 in the x direction and 4 in the y direction. So these are two vectors, and it is required to determine the angle between them. Determine the angle between u and v. Now, if you want to plot this in the Cartesian coordinates. So these are something like this. If this is the x and the y, this is the x, this is the y. So u is 2 and 3. 2, this is 2, y and 3, so something like this. This is u, this is 2 and 3. So this is the position vector for u. Now the v is -1 and 4. So -1 is here. Let's say 4 is here. So -1 and 4. So this is the position vector for v. This is -1 and 4. So it is required to determine this angle. This is the angle that we are looking for. The angle between these two vectors. Now, when we are asked about the angle between two vectors, we always use the dot product. Our way to find the angle between two vectors is the dot product. Now, the dot product, u dot v equals u, the value of u, multiplied by the value of v cosine theta, where theta is the angle between the two vectors. And also we have the dot product, again, u dot v equals ux vx plus uy vy. Okay, this is the component of u in the x direction multiplied by the component of v in the x direction, plus the component of u in the y direction multiplied by the v in the component in the y direction. So this is u v cosine theta. So cosine theta equals ux vx plus uy vy divided by the value of u multiplied by the value of v. So now we want to determine the value of u. So the value of the first vector is ux square plus uy square square root. This is the Pythagorean theorem. So the value is u is 2, ux is 2 square plus uy is 3 square root. So we have 4 plus 9. So the value of u is the square root of 13. Now the value of v, in the same way, the value of v is -1 square, which is ux, the component of the vector v in the x direction, plus the square of 4, which is the component of the v in the y direction, square root. So that is v is, this is 1, and this is 16. So 1 plus 16 square root of 17. Now we want to determine u dot a, u dot v. Okay. Now u dot v we said that ux vx plus uy by. So ux is, we have 2 by minus 1, 2 by minus 1 plus 3 by 4. So we have minus 2 plus 12, we have 10. This is the value of u dot v. Minus 2 plus 12 is 10. Now we go back and substitute. Now cosine theta, which is the angle between the two vectors. So we take the value, this one, which is, this was 10, and we divide it by the value of u multiplied by the value of y. So this is going to be cosine theta. So this is 10 divided by the square root of 13 multiplied by square root of 17, right? Yes, 13 by 17. So theta equals cosine minus 1 equals cosine minus 1, 10 over square root, we can bring them together, 13 by 17. So this is the answer. Cosine minus 1, 10 over 13 by 17. If you have any question about the problems we solved today, please send me a comment and I will get back to you about any of these questions. If you also have any question you want me to address in the next video, please also send me a comment and I will solve it. Thank you. That's it for today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.